We are going to be continuing with our completing the square word problems, and we're going to finish our last type. So the last type of word problems are revenue word problems. And revenue word problems can be a little bit challenging to set up, but once we understand the setup, then they're very consistent on how to use them. So here's our situation. A motel has 30 rooms. The owner decides to raise the price of each room from the current price of $40. Every $2 increase in price results in one less room rented out. What price of each room would maximize the revenue? So similar to last lesson, when we see the word maximize, that's telling us that we will be completing the square or finding a vertex. So shortly, we will be creating an equation for this, but to help us understand the situation a little bit better, we're going to be filling out a chart. So our motel starts with 30 rooms, and we start with a price of $40 per room. So in our question, we have 30 rooms, and we start at a price of $40. Now, every time that we increase the price by $2, we lose one room. So we now increase our price to 42, but now only 29 rooms are rented out. Now we can find our revenue. So what revenue is how much money have I made? So aside from costs I've already spent and all that, we're just thinking of how much money do I have right now sitting in the cash register. So in the first one, they had 30 rooms at $40 a room, so they made $1,200 total. Now, for the next one, I only can rent out 29 rooms, but I get $42 per room. So this time I'm getting $1,218. So, although I'm renting out less rooms, I am actually making more money because I'm charging more per room. Next, let's increase the price one more time to $44. And when I increase my room price by $2, I lose a room being rented out. So now I only have 28 rooms. So how much money will we make? We have 28 rooms at $44 a room. So now we will be making $1,232. So again, our total revenue or the amount of money we've made has now increased. Let's do this a few more times. So let's increase the price again to 46. Now I'll only have 27 rooms. So now I'll make a total of 1,242. And I'm just going to keep going. So 48, 26. And as you can see, we're increasing and increasing and increasing. So I'm going to do two more. I know we've run out of room, but I just want you to be able to see where we're going with this. So let's increase the price again to 50. But now we only have 25 rooms. So 25 rooms, $50 a room. That will give us 1,250. Now one more. So let's increase the price one more time, right? We're getting kind of greedy. We see that the more we increase our price, the more money we're making. But now we can only fill 24 rooms. So let's see how much money we make. So something's happened here. All of a sudden, I'm making less money. Instead of going up and up and up like it was, I've hit a turnaround point and I've started to go back down. That means that we found our maximum here. If I increase my price to $50 and only sell out 25 rooms, I can make my maximum revenue. Now, this doesn't work too bad in a chart because we didn't have to fill out that many rows in order to find our maximum. But that's very unrealistic for most situations, and it's very inefficient to be drawing a giant chart with 100 rows. So we're going to do this algebraically by completing the square. And the setup for this is a little funny, but once you know how to do it once, all the other ones follow. So again, our situation, we have 30 rooms and they start at a price of $40. We're looking at these $2 increases. So every time they increase by $2, we have less people staying at the hotel. So the one main variable that we have are these number of $2 increases. So I'm going to start by saying let X represent the number of $2 increases. So now we need to decide how many times we've increased it. And that's why we make that a variable. So now we can use our number of increases and put it into an equation. So our revenue and what we were doing over here is we were taking our number of rooms multiplied by our price. So that's where we get our revenue is our number of rooms multiplied by the price. So how many rooms do I have? Well, I start with 30, but it's not always 30. It's 30, but I lose one every time I increase the price. So I have 30 minus 1 times however many price increases I do. Now for my price. My price starts at 40, but it's going to be increasing by $2 every time I increase the price. So every time I increase the price, I'll go up 40, 42, 44, 46. So that's why we write it like this. Now we can't complete the square from factored form, so we're going to have to multiply this out. So remember, always draw your arrow so you don't miss anything. Make sure you draw the bottom ones too. Sometimes we forget to multiply in that negative 1x. So this will give me 1200 plus 60x minus 40x minus 2x squared. Now, we need to make sure that we have this in the right order because we can only complete the square once we have everything in the right order. So let's move that negative 2x squared over here, plus 60x minus 40x plus 1200. Now I'm just going to collect some like terms in the middle there. Now, because it says maximize in the equation, we're going to be completing the square. So let's put brackets around our first two terms. Factor out that number in front of the x squared. Now we find that magic number that turns the stuff into the brackets into a perfect square trinomial. So negative 10 divided by 2 all squared. And that will give me 5 squared, which is 25. And I add and subtract 25. Now I move that negative 1 out of the bracket. But remember, when it leaves, we have to multiply it by this number in front here. So that will give us x squared minus 10x plus 25 plus 50 plus 1200. Now I'm just going to collect those like terms at the end there. And now I'm just going to factor inside the brackets. So because of how we built it, it's automatically a perfect square trinomial. If you're having a hard time identifying those, you can always factor it the long way as well. But this will give us x minus 5 all squared plus 1250. So now because I'm looking for a maximum, I'm just going to quickly write out my vertex. So my vertex from here is 5, 12, 50, where 5 is my x and 1250 is my r. So remember, because of how we defined it, x is my number of $2 increases. So what this is telling me here is that a max revenue of $12.50 occurs after 5 price increases. So now let's find the price after 5 price increases, because what we're trying to find here is what price of each room. So we know that the maximum price occurs after 5 price increases, but what is the price? So my price started at $40 a room, and I've increased the price by $2 5 times. So what that tells us is therefore a room price of $50 will maximize the revenue. And if we look at our chart, that's exactly what we got after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 increases. Sorry, we started here, then we increased it once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. We will have our max revenue of $12.50. So we end up getting the exact same thing. So there's some down here for you to practice. The setup is exactly the same. So go through and work through all of those, and then the solutions are all below.